My name is Barbara Ann Briggs, and I am a certified teacher of Transcendental Meditation and also the author of 2 books, Pilgrimage on the Path of Love, a novel of visionary fiction which has been hailed as the perfect amalgamation of spiritual awakening and self-discovery. I'm also the author of The Contribution of Maharishi's Vedic Science to Complete Fulfillment in Life. I'm a poet and a freelance journalist with numerous articles published in many different parts of the world. In this podcast, The Essence of Life, we will begin to understand the meaning of what is actually the essence of life, and where can we find it?
The subject of today's podcast is source of true courage. Where does courage come from? Where does the inner strength come from in times of stress, trials, and tribulations? What is it that gives one the courage to march forward for the sake of an ideal into the great unknown in spite of the inevitable risks, possible dangers, threat of loss of security, comfort, and even life? Courage and inner strength in the individual spring from that which is the unified source of power, wisdom, and energy in the universe. Those with a devotional temperament may call it God. Those with a scientific bent of mind call it the unified field of natural law. But both are referring to the same unlimited source of life-giving energy in the universe. This omnipresent, beneficent power instills in us the courage to move forward into the vast unknown. Although invisible, it is nonetheless the invincible power deep within our own hearts that we always call upon in our hour of need. The omnipresent being, this nameless wholeness of life, is a source of inner strength and courage that will never fail us as long as we trust in it. There is a saying, faith, even the size of a mustard seed, can move mountains. Courage is born of faith, both faith in oneself and faith in God. Faith springs from our awareness of the oneness of life that underlies, supports, and governs the diverse fields of manifestation. The faith we have in ourselves enriches our faith in God, and our faith in God enriches our faith in ourselves. For Atman and Brahman are essentially one. Yata Pinde Tata Brahmande, as in the individual, so in the cosmos, as in the microcosm, so in the macrocosm. Faith stems from an intuitive awareness of a benevolent power that nourishes and protects all living beings in the universe. Faith is an inner anchor that bestows mental equilibrium in the face of danger. It enables us to meet the crises in our lives without losing our balance. The more we want to achieve, the more courage, the more faith are needed. The higher the building we want to erect, the deeper must be the foundation. The invincible power that infuses life with energy, intelligence, and creativity is always invoked, consciously or unconsciously, in any act of courage. This power alone guides all actions towards achievement and fulfillment. Without faith, courage will be lacking, and without courage, we cannot accomplish anything of real significance in life. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, and I quote, "He gains knowledge who is possessed of faith, is active of purpose, and has subdued the senses. Having gained knowledge, swiftly he comes to the supreme peace. But the man who is without knowledge, without faith, and of a doubting nature, perishes. For the doubting mind, there is neither this world, nor another, nor any happiness." End quote. Lack of awareness of the underlying oneness, wholeness, and unity in the midst of life's diverse expressions is born of lack of faith, which in turn gives rise to doubt and despair. Doubts emerge when one focuses on the field of differences to such an extent that one forgets or ignores the field of oneness. When the unified wholeness of life is forgotten, one is unable to feel the interconnectedness between the whole and its parts. One ignores the eternal, immortal, imperishable aspect of life and instead identifies with the perishable, ever-changing aspect, and so becomes increasingly vulnerable. One reacts to changing circumstances very much like a leaf tossed about by the blowing wind. The mind is caught between conflicting emotions and desires. One is forced to choose between this and that. The weak mind is always caught in the conflict, born of the duality between mind and heart. In the Upanishads, it says, Dvitiyad ve bhayam bhavati. Certainly fear is born of duality. Whenever there is a sense of two, fear can arise. In the Vivek Chudamani, Adi Shankara says, whenever the wise man sees the least difference in the infinite Brahman, at once that which he sees as different through mistake becomes a source of terror to him. End quote. Just as fear is born of duality, or the separation of the individual from the cosmos, so courage is born of the innate awareness of the oneness of the ultimate power. Through meditation, we can access and enliven the unified level of life in our awareness. By attuning the individual mind to the cosmic mind, we can gain unlimited courage, balance of mind, and even invincibility. When Arjuna, the greatest archer of his time, was caught in a state of suspension in the battlefield, Sri Krishna taught him the knowledge of Sankhya pertaining to the indestructibility of the spiritual content of life. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "Know that to be indeed indestructible, by which all this is pervaded. None can work the destruction of this immutable being. He is uncleavable, he cannot be burned, he cannot be wetted, nor yet can he be dried. He is eternal, all-pervading, stable, immovable, ever the same." End quote. Armed with this knowledge given by Sri Krishna, and after directly experiencing the transcendence of the field of duality in his own awareness, Arjuna was able to rise to the occasion and fulfill his dharma. By the end of 3 hours, Arjuna succeeds in becoming established in the immovable wholeness of life, and in conquering not only his inner enemies in the form of fear and doubt, but his external enemies as well, and in re-establishing dharma, the rule of righteousness for the good of all beings. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, even here in this life, the universe is conquered by those whose mind is established in equanimity. End quote. Courage is the quality of a conqueror. He who would conquer the world must conquer the mind and become established in being, the omnipresent wholeness of life. Only then can one truly work toward nourishing, supporting, and uplifting the world.
I invite you to subscribe to this podcast so that we can share many more episodes related to unfolding the very essence of life. And I look forward to many more episodes in which we embark upon the quest of self-knowledge together. A new episode will be uploaded every 2 weeks. You are also invited to go to www.barbaraannbriggs.com to learn more about my work. Until next time, very best wishes.